Good evening, guys. Welcome to our Facebook Live session. One more time, we bring you one of the college's marketing personnel to give you great information about their courses. Today, we are very fortunate to have Cheryl Brennan. Cheryl, welcome. Cheryl basically comes from Charles Darwin University back in NT in Northern Territory State, and Cheryl is going to give us all the information about the different courses. Cheryl, I hope you're well. Hope everybody who is watching us is doing well. Guys, stay safe, stay healthy. Let's welcome Cheryl now. Cheryl, welcome to our Facebook Live session.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure to be here with you today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's start about, we'll not waste any time. Let's start about the information about CDU. So can you please tell us a little bit about CDU in general and Northern Territory?
Sure. Great. So at CDU, our students study and live in an inclusive and growing community where they're known by name. CDU research intensive quality programs offer our students practical hands-on experience. It prepares our students to take on careers in a place where they can stand out from the crowd. So I think some of the key points about CDU are a great return on investment. We're ranked #1 in graduate salary rates and #2 in full-time employment through the Good Universities Guide 2019-2020. So I think that is great for our students, knowing that they can complete their programs and go into great careers. Another thing is we have a really diverse range of programs. So CDU is one of the first universities in Australia that was a dual sector university. So we have programs, vet programs, commercial cookery, baking, hospitality, tourism, beauty, hairdressing, all the way up to higher degree by research. Wonderful pathways for our students. At last count, I saw about 130 different programs for our international students to choose from. So I think we have pretty much something for everyone wanting to come and study in Australia. Also, going back to the vet piece that I just spoke about, we're the 3-time winner of the Northern Territory Training Provider of the Year. So from 2017, 2018, 2019, we have wonderful facilities at our vet colleges because we get funds from the Northern Territory government. All of our commercial cookery kitchens, for example, are totally renewed every 2 to 3 years. So really excellent, top-notch facilities for our students to go to. We also benefit our students, particularly our international students, because we have really small class sizes. So we have about 25 students per class on average. And look, students, I mean, it's not just about the study experience, it's also about, engagement in your community. And we have loads of student engagement opportunities for our students. We've got the CDU Ambassador Program, we have the Northern Territory Ambassador Program and the Study NT Ambassador Program, and we have students that do all three. So wonderful opportunities there. I know that a lot of probably our most successful students have done lots of volunteering while they've been part of CDU and in the community. So, it is a place, Darwin being 160,000 people, you have this opportunity to really stand out. People know you by name. So taking advantage of all of those opportunities, I think, are a wonderful thing for our students. We also have about 20,000 students in total, and over, almost 2,000 international students. So predominantly we're a domestic university, but we have a growing international community with us, and we have students from over 60 different countries. So you really are at a university where you're going to be able to meet people from around the world. Now, for our campuses, we have 2 campuses in Darwin. We have the waterfront campus, which is, in the tourism hub of Darwin, and that's where we have all of our business, accounting, law, and our CDU International College. So you can take your, professional, sorry, your master, your MPP, your MQP, your foundation programs there, if you kind of need to do that before you start into the bachelor program. We have the Casuarina campus, which is about a 10-minute drive from the city center. So at that campus, that's the main campus, set across 56 hectares of pristine parkland, right next to a beach. We also have student accommodation available there as well. We have Palmerston, that's our vet campus where we're doing the commercial cookery and all of that. And that location is about a 20-minute drive from Darwin. Palmerston is the fastest growing city in Australia currently. And we have right in the geographical center of Australia, we have the Alice Springs campus. So again, that's an even smaller community, about 28,000 people there, really close to Uluru. And we offer commercial cookery. So Certificate 3 and Certificate 4 in commercial cookery are available at that campus. And finally, we have the Sydney campus. We have health science programs here, mostly in nursing and midwifery. So again, we have, if you want to study in a big city, being like, in, the heart of, New South Wales, you can come to Sydney. We now in Darwin, and that's where most of our students are going. Most people want to go to the Northern Territory. Darwin is a great place to live. It's a unique tropical city. It's famous for its beautiful sunsets and natural scenery. There's great food and art markets. You see great multiculturalism there, and a wonderful, rich indigenous community, with a really strong connection to Asia. So Darwin is considered the gateway to Asia. And so for a lot of our students, it's a very kind of soft landing, if you will. They're only like, 3 to 4 hour flight if they live in Southeast Asia, and about 6 hours from South China. So really easy to get to, really easy to get home. A lot of our students choose Darwin as their location of study because they can feel still very close to home while being and studying in Australia. And the population of Darwin, like I'd mentioned, about 160,000 people from
Yep.
60 different nationalities and 70 different ethnic backgrounds. So, I've asked students, well, tell me, what are your favorite things about Darwin? And usually what they come back to me is they say,
Yeah.
first, so friendly. And I have to say, I've never been to a more friendly place in my life. I just sort of feel like when I'm there, very much welcomed and part of the community. A lot of people say, well, it's because it's a small town. And I'm like, no, I think Darwin is special, really, truly super welcoming and diverse, culturally diverse, where people do know you by name. I get, oh, when I'm in Darwin, people are like, hey, Cheryl. And I'm like, oh my gosh, people like know me here. I live in Sydney, by the way. So, I'm always kind of like shocked that people remember me, but they do. People remember you. And, I think too, there's great employment opportunities in Darwin. It is, it's in the regional area, but it's also a capital city. So you've
Yeah.
got a great diversity of industry, you've got government there. So I think, in terms of finding careers and professional careers, you have lots of opportunity in Darwin to do that.
Yes.
Um, and it's a growing community, and a very relaxed lifestyle. People love, the fact that there's never any traffic, that it's a beautiful, pristine skies. I think people really like that relaxed lifestyle, but still you're in a more cosmopolitan place where you have lots of wonderful things to do and see while you're there. And
Yes.
I think a big thing is lower cost of living. I mean, basically you're paying, well, probably about 30% less in Darwin for rent than you would in the major cities. I
Yeah.
know that one big thing is uh, public transport is only $7 a week in
Yeah.
Darwin. I think that that's incredible. You'd be lucky to do that per day in Sydney. And, like I had mentioned before, that gateway to Asia, students just love that. Even if they're not from Asia, to be in that proximity to Asia means that you have lots of opportunity for travel. Of course, once COVID is
Of
kind of
course.
made its way through the world. Yes, and I think another thing that students love is that Indigenous culture, that unique Australian experience that really you're going to not be able to find anywhere else in Australia. So yeah, I think that those are the main things about Darwin and about CDU that really kind of capture what it's like to be there and study there.
Yep. I myself lived for a couple of years in Darwin and Casuarina markets and Mindle markets, and evening the atmosphere there was just amazing. And
It really is.
and the best thing about it is I remember we used to travel from Darwin to Singapore for $35. Now taking a cab from Darwin City to Darwin Airport was expensive, but the tickets were so cheap. So
That's great.
yes. Now, of course, we've covered what's all about CDU and NT in general. Now, I believe July intake is pretty much passed away, so we are looking for November intake, whatever the courses we are coming up. So can you please give us more information about the courses which CDU offers in November?
Sure, sure. So, look, in the past, we haven't offered a November intake for new commencing students. So this is really in response to COVID, and to give students an opportunity to kind of get through, kind of find out what they're doing, and then make their way to Darwin. So we are offering a limited intake. Uh, Basically, we're offering students Bachelor of Business, Bachelor of Accounting. We're going to have Bachelor of Psychological Science and Diploma of Engineering. We'll have Associate's degree in Engineering, the Bachelor of Engineering Science, and the Bachelor of Engineering Science Honors.
Mm-hmm.
We're also going to have a Diploma of Science and a Bachelor of Science, as well as the Associate degree in Network Engineering, Associate degree in Information and Communication Technology. We'll also have Bachelor of Computer Science, Bachelor of Information Technology, and Bachelor of Software Engineering. So those are the Bachelor Diploma programs on offer. And then post-grad, a smaller sample there, but we'll have the MBA, the Master Professional Accounting, Master of Engineering, Master of Information Technology, Software Engineering, or Cybersecurity, or Information Systems and Data Science, and we'll also have the Master of Data Science. So more or less, we're looking at accounting, business, engineering, and IT programs on offer, and a little bit of science as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you kind of considered COVID what everybody is. It's a talking point at this point of time everywhere you go.
Yes.
So again, the next question what I had is how COVID has affected NT in general, and are there any restrictions in place?
Yes, yes. Well, okay, first off, Northern Territory is the safest place in the world to be perfectly honest. I mean, New Zealand was looking good, but they look like they're having a bit of a resurgence.
Yes,
So
yes.
I think in total there was about 34 cases of COVID, and there's 3 active cases right now,
Mhm.
all which were caught very, very soon, very quickly, once they were discovered. And so I think that the Northern Territory is really handling the situation quite well.
Mhm.
Now, they're from the 17th of July, they were opening up the borders to interstate travel. But then, of course, we had that outbreak in Melbourne and in Victoria and across the greater Sydney region. So from those 2 locations currently, we have all of our students, or anyone who's traveling to the Northern Territory will have to isolate at the Howard Springs facility. So that is a quarantine facility, and there is a fee
Mhm.
associated with that. So it's $2,500 for anyone to isolate there, or if it's a couple, it'll be up $5,000. If you have any children under 2 years old, they're free. But for families that are together in a single unit, it's a $5,000 fee that includes, your accommodation, your meals, and so forth. So that's kind of one thing that's sort of holding people back, I think, from getting to the territory. But also, I think the fact that is once you complete that 2-week stay and you're not sick, and you're finished, life is pretty much normal there. all of my colleagues say it feels like they never even had COVID. You know, when it first broke out, there was, you know, a couple of week period where, you know, things were shut down and they were like in level 2 or level 3 kind of lockdown. But
Yes.
that's completely past, and it feels like, you know, people are social distancing and really maintaining very high, you know, hygiene standards.
Yeah.
But life is very, very normal there. So I think that that could be kind of an attractive thing for people who maybe don't want to stay in lockdown for a very long period of time.
True, true. So that's a very good sign, you know. After hearing that there are only 3 cases and now everything is under control, that's definitely a very positive sign. Now, of course, there might be students who are already studying now, or the students who are potential students who are thinking of coming into CDU. Just broadly, can you please tell us about the student services, what you guys provide? Are there any counselors on site if somebody is going through, you know, that anxiety or a depression sort of mode? Because usually don't students don't tend to talk about it, but we always request them to, you know, talk it out and get the help at right time. So what sort of help do you guys provide?
Well, you know, we have a very comprehensive range of student support services ranging from personal support, academic support, and international student support. So we help our students with things like, you know, everything from getting mental health counseling, access and inclusion for people who might have disabilities. We have a career and employment counseling service. So students who are looking for jobs both while they study and after they complete their studies are able to find work. We have accommodation advice and assistance. So that's not just for student housing, but also giving people advice for how to find housing independently. And of course, financial planning too. We do a lot to help our students and make sure that they are really well looked after in that personal support space. And I think too, very importantly, we have great academic support. And I certainly think that right now, you know, with the stress of COVID-19 and, you know, the fact that I think we're all feeling a little distracted, having that academic support is really important. So we have LearnLine. We actually recently received award from Blackboard for having really strong academic. I can't remember the exact name of that award. I know I sent it to you,
Yes,
but
yes.
we won this award. We're the only university in Australia or any education
Asia
provider that has
Pacific.
won
Yes,
this
I
award
remember.
in the Asia Pacific.
Yes.
So I think it really says something about how good our online program is. We do have a number of students studying online right now, of course, because they are stuck out of state,
Yes.
but and also out of country. But we do offer a really quality, you know, online learning program. And actually, right now, even in Darwin, just to kind of step back for a second, even in Darwin, some of our courses where we're unable to maintain social distancing in a classroom because of the class size,
Yeah.
they're doing kind of a blended learning model. So
Mm.
they might take some of their lectures online, but they're coming into the classroom to do any type of you know, like tutorial and that
Yes.
sort of thing. And actually, a lot of classes are just normal, you know,
That's
of
that's
course, with the social distancing. We have library guides and liaisons to help our students, you know, with support. We have the academic language and learning success program, which is a really key program for many of our students, because they might need additional help with English skills,
yeah.
or, you know, some sort of academic skills. We offer study skills workshops. We have peer assisted study sessions. So we have a great range of programs for our students to help them academically. And then finally, international students have their own needs. And so we have staff dedicated to support our students with COE information. Of course, we offer orientation. This last orientation education was fully online.
Yep.
We have staff helping our students with student visa obligations and conditions. If anyone needs to take an intermission because of COVID or have their study load reduced, we have staff there to assist our students as well. And if students choose to take Allianz as their OSHC provider, we do have Allianz on campus 2 days a week to help process claims. So I think, overall, great student support services. Like you mentioned, it's really important for people to, maintain good mental health and
Yep.
to reach out to our counseling team when they need help. I mean, great team there too, and available all the time. So I think, for student support, we definitely have our students covered.
Yeah, when I remember when I was in Darwin, I met few students as well because it's so close community, and they said that the best thing about coming to Darwin is getting a job, student while they are studying, was everything is so close, and of course the job availability is there. So that's another thing which I would like to put in, that finding a job is comparatively easy compared to the bigger cities. So that's one more point. Now, of course, we talked about the courses. We talked about, how it was affected. You mentioned all the courses. Is there any message which you like to, sorry, give it to our potential students who are thinking right now of coming to CDU or coming to Northern Territory for that matter?
Absolutely. I think that the one big thing is don't wait too long with your application. Apply now because sometimes it will take a little bit of time to make sure that you submit all the documentation that's required. I know that with Aussizz, you guys are one of my favorite, education agents because you do such a great job with your applications. I know that the admissions team has even said, we love applications from Aussizz because you guys really know what you're doing and it's very, very clear and complete applications that's received. So thank you very much for your support for that. Um, but making sure that you give yourself adequate time to do this. Don't wait till the last minute because once we start to kind of get closer and closer to that date, the wait times might be a little bit longer because we have more and more students in the queue.
Of course.
Another thing is, don't make your travel arrangements until after you've accepted your offer, because you never know what's going to happen.
True.
And I think it's really just to be on the safe side, make your travel arrangements then. And be sure that before you make your travel arrangements, that you understand that the border is open and what your obligations are once you cross that border. So it's important to check the Northern Territory website. There's a government website. It's called coronavirus.nt.gov.au. If you go /travel, then
Yeah.
it'll take you to the domestic travel page and
Yeah.
you can see what are the requirements. So right now it's open to everybody
Yeah.
to come in without any type of need to quarantine.
Yeah.
Um, or self-isolate.
Yeah.
But anyone from Victoria, the Greater Sydney region, and I actually think Brisbane has been recently added to the list. They would be required to go to the Howard Springs facility in order to quarantine for 2 weeks at a significant cost to
Yeah.
yourself. So make sure you understand what that is before you go and book anything.
Yes.
Otherwise, you might want to consider maybe commencing with online study.
Yes.
And, you know, when you get there, just take advantage of living and studying in a small community. Get involved, like I said, volunteer, participate in the student ambassador programs, go to the events, meet your peers. A lot of people want to go to the territory to make that their home. And, it's great to kind of kick off with that early on, kick off with that while you're studying so that when you graduate, you have the best career and opportunities available to you.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much, Cheryl. You pretty much covered all the aspects what we would have liked to talk about. Guys, whoever is basically watching and thinking of going to CDU or thinking about going to NT to study, you can reach out to any of our Aussizz offices. As you know, we are one of the biggest education and migration agents in Australia. and we have the offices pretty much, except NT and Tasmania, where we should have offices soon. We have offices in pretty much every single state, so you can reach out to any of the state's offices, or you can reach out to us in Melbourne, and we are more than happy to give you all the information when it comes to the fees. If there are any scholarships, we'll try to give. Cheryl, on every fortnight we basically have a different session about education, and we mention the courses which are in CDU. So one of our representatives kind of cover CDU. So we every single fortnight we give that information. So different courses, sometimes it's science, sometimes engineering, sometimes it's IT, sometimes it's hospitality. So we try to cover all the aspects of that. So guys, as I said, feel free to get in touch with us, and we will definitely hope to see you soon. Thank you so much, Cheryl, once again, that you have given. I know when we are working from home, I think we are working more for longer hours. So thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate that, and hope to see you soon. Hope this COVID clouds kind of relief, and we'll definitely catch up very soon.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Take
Thank you.
care.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
You
Bye bye.
too. Bye-bye.